All right, welcome back to another episode of Zen and Fire. Today we are talking about did I hurt your ego? Right? Undeserved ego. There's a difference between undeserved and deserved ego. And how to deal with your haters, saboteurs, and crabs in a barrel. We are going to be bringing celebrities into this. We're going to be bringing real life into it. And like we always do, we are going to be building up your beliefs so you can break down your walls and get everything you ever wanted. So let's get into it.
Looking like a baddie, I show up and make them stop. Wanna know my name so badly, cause I run this whole block. Tip my hair, move my head, show the world I'm royalty. Wait, yeah. Move it. They wanna know just how I do it.
All right, welcome back. Yeah. Oh, we are jamming. This is a good
I
song.
love it. Our intro
Yeah.
is so hot.
I know. So I'm Shannon Ferris, and I'm with my co-host Cynthia Day. We have both built lots of businesses that have made us very profitable. We have both worked extra hard to, how do I say this? I need the Cynthia in it because I'm so curt about certain things, but just be badasses. So Cynthia, you want to put your Zen aspect of it because I'm really to the point. I'll
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
she's bringing out her.
I'm like, wait a minute, what are my notes that we said?
Yeah. So
Hold
essentially,
up
at the end of the day,
a
we are
minute.
bringing together our superpowers of mind and building businesses, and Cynthia about healing internally, right, in order to be the best possible versions of ourselves. And today we are talking about did I hurt your ego? And there's two things. Cynthia's heard me talk about this a lot about deserved ego and undeserved ego. And so deserved ego is like confidence. You're allowed to say things. When you have something to celebrate, you have an accomplishment, you should be allowed to celebrate that. And then undeserved ego is that toxic that we associate the word with, right? Where it's the loudest person in the room and they're constantly boasting and whatnot.
Mm.
Right. And so today we're going to talk about how important it is to really have a sense of self in order to navigate through these waters. And
And especially when you're dealing with people who want to pull you down and keep you thinking small.
well,
I
that's
think,
the thing.
yeah.
Right. And this topic came from like, I'm a diehard, I'm a Swiftie. I am. I do not apologize for it. Regardless of anything, your political views, I love who she is. She's like, hey, I want to give back. She's there for the fans. Like, I'm sorry, she's pulling off some banging bangs that nobody else can do. She has been raked across the coals and crucified for so many different things, but yet she has a sense of self.
Oh, 100%. She's got sold out tours. She's got multi billion dollar
Billion.
enterprise, and she's got songs that speak to the hearts of people all over the place. I mean, she's capitalizing and monetizing on her own life, which I think is absolutely brilliant. She's not exploiting anyone else but herself.
Not exploiting people, and that's the big thing, right?
Yeah.
She literally has an army. She has an army of Swifties who are able to be outraged. They changed Ticketmaster policies. Come on now. What's happening there?
Who has the power to do that?
Swifties do. Swifties do. Right? And you know what it's from? It's because she is unapologetic about who she is. She is true to herself. And like, let's talk about this. So a lot of times women have to pay, there's a double standard out there. So Taylor Swift has made money off of writing about what she knows is in her heart. And people are like, oh, like you're going to trust her judgment and what she has to say because she has many failed relationships.
Absolutely. She's got experience in relationships. She knows what doesn't work.
Exactly, right? Hold on. So let's talk about this for a minute, right? So is it better to say, hey, this relationship isn't working for me or whatever it is, right? the thing is the double standard that I have. And so when it comes to that, we have when we talk about crabs in a barrel, I started going down a rabbit hole of the headlines and how they were different. So I saw a trend where it was women are responsible for men's failures, right? So we have Taylor Swift, right? All of a sudden, Travis Kelce, who's in love, and I'm going to tell you, I know, you know how I know he was toxic before? And I'm not saying anything bad. I love him. I love Jason. I love the relationship they have, but I was mildly a lot attracted to him. So we have, I don't know, oh yeah, you're definitely need therapy if I'm attracted to you. Let's be real honest, okay? But yes, he's head over heels, right? So the right man, like, look, she's pulling off the bangs, bright red lipstick, banging, right? But now because he's not performing well, by the way, he defends her. So I'm not calling Travis out at all. He's defending her. He's head over heels in love with her. But look at what we're doing as a society. We're saying she's the reason. Okay, look at Tom and Giselle Buncham. Look at that, right? She put her life on hold in support. And I'm not going against Tom Brady, love him too, but it's the narrative that's created in society.
100%, because she's the one who stopped her modeling career so that she could have babies and be a mom and support her husband's career. She was the number one paid model
Banging
ever.
body. Again,
Ever.
Taylor banging, good hair, banging, good career. Giselle banging body, good hair. Like, are we seeing the trend, right? And then
Right.
you want to go after Victoria and David? Victoria Beckham? Right? So they're blaming these women. And then, like I said before, I don't know what to think of the Kardashians. I do love them. I do.
Gotta respect their hustle.
I
100%.
do. I do. I don't have to love everything
No
about
matter
you.
how they get there, right?
Yeah. So now they're saying, hold on, let's back this up because I go a little deep on these things because I don't just like to talk out of my butthole. So we're saying 14 victims of the Kardashian curse. So by the way, it's a big family and it's majority women. So we're going to blame Kanye on Kim. We're going to blame
Lamar
Odom
on
and his
Chloe.
stuff on, by the way,
Like
Chloe
they
is my
didn't just
favorite.
lose their ever loving mind on their own, that it had to be the woman's fault.
Yeah. So
they were just at a very toxic point in their life where they attracted another toxic lover. I mean, what can you say? You and I do it. Everyone listening has done it. Come on.
Excuse me, I wasn't expected to be called out on this, but if we're going to do that, apparently. What I'm saying is so look at this. So we have these, I know, we have all these powerful women, and what's coming at them is we're making them. But hold on, let's go to the Queen Bee. Let's bring up Beyonce.
I love Beyonce.
I know you do. And so you and I had a little bit of a tete-a-tete. Is that how you say it, right? And you're like, oh, yes, Beyonce, she's the best. I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, let's debate this. And so I'm really working on getting my different perspectives. And I'm like, why do I have beef with Beyonce, who's got, again, I love Taylor Swift, banging body, banging talent, banging hair. Beyonce, banging talent, banging body, banging hair. Why do I have beef with her? And so I did. I spent a little time reflecting and I'm like, oh, that's because you see too much of yourself and the shit you put up with in relationships and herself. And so you're projecting. Yeah.
Wow.
So out of there, again, I went down
that was deep.
Well, it's true, right? Like,
does anyone ever take the time to get to understand why they don't particularly like another person? Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Well, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit later, right? Is like, what is it? Because we've done it, but then vice versa, right? And so I'm going down this rabbit hole of which I do quite often, Beyonce, right? And I'm like, why? She's super talented.
She's super in control of her career. She's the
She
boss of her empire. She's making executive decisions.
Mhm.
Maybe she's a lot of a control freak, but the point of the matter is that she's just not a pawn out there being controlled by this whole team that's managing
She
her.
is.
She's 100% trailblazing her own thing. Like she's setting trends just like Taylor, setting
But she's
trends.
not, right? So hold on. Let me back up a little bit and explain myself. We're condemning Taylor Swift and Victoria Beckham and all these other people, but then when you go a little bit deeper on Beyonce, they are protecting her husband over her, right? So hold on. We're condemning Taylor Swift and even Halsey for writing about relationships, but Beyonce put out a whole album called Lemonade and they made it
About
lighthearted.
her, exactly, about her relationship.
But how is that different? How?
Mm. It's not, in my opinion.
It's not,
It's the
right?
same trend. It's the same thing.
Mhm. But however, so the point of this is let's look at Britney Spears too. So the whole point of all of this is there's a different dynamic to things. And let's look at that really quick, right? Britney Spears, she let just in theory, Justin Timberlake control her. She let her dad took away her whole self beings, right? He controlled her money, her body, everything she did. I read her book. Anybody else read her book?
Can't say I did.
Okay, I did. Um, and she did such a great job with it. But the difference is, let's look at these women. It's true self advocacy and being able to have tools in order to combat the crabs in a barrel, the people who want to bring you down, the people who want to hate you, and having a sense of self worth and a center versus when you don't. Look at the difference. That's the way I see it. Does it
Mm.
make sense?
Unpack that a little bit more for me. Like, what specific difference are you seeing in the woman who wants to expose her self-worth to the world? What are you noticing?
I think a lot of times there is a lot of projection. So it will be what you say versus who you are. So Taylor Swift is a little bit of I am who I am. I accept who I am. I'm not perfect. Love me for me. And I don't want to say anything bad about Beyonce because I gotta tell you, she's doing a lot better than I am. She still has a banging body, banging hair, but there is something that is missing or a hold that Jay-Z and the publicist or whoever it is have over her.
And what do you think that would be?
I don't know, but he's what significantly older than her. He's like 12 plus years older than her. He met her when she was 19. Right? And
Mhm.
so I just think that when there are there's a dynamic, right? When women are pretty self-confident and they're like, "Oh, sorry about you," and they put it on blast, right? But then we look at these other women who get the wrong people involved in their lives at a young age, Now that I'm talking through it, I'm kind of realizing it. Britney Spears, young age, dad took over, greed. Jay-Z, young age. She was 19. 19. Did you know yourself at 19, Cynthia?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Are you just now, as
Only just now
we're
figuring
just
that
now
part
coming
out.
into 30 years old?
Right. 30, 30 and flirty now.
Yeah. 13 going on 30, right? I love that.
Right.
Right? So, I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole because it started with the women on The View, and they don't have they are truly crabs in a barrel. I don't
And
care what your go
I
ahead.
would absolutely say that media would be as well, because I mean, when you talk about projecting, who's really the one projecting? Would it be the piece of content that you're reading, that the perspective that you're reading about a particular person or event that might be
Mhm.
going on? I mean, you're reading the projections of the person writing the story. So, who's really projecting?
Actually, I just thought of a question. How healed are you based on what you read? So when
Oh,
I write, so when I'm reading this, I'm like, I'm mad. Like you guys, you and our producer Brandon had to listen to me like text and rant all day long. Like when I was a kid, first of all, Dolly Parton, don't you dare say a bad thing about her. We will like fisticuffs. Like I'm coming after you. However, like now that I think about the song Jolene, I'm pissed. Like Dolly or whoever's singing the song is going to this woman saying, "Please don't take him from me." I'm like, now that I'm more healed, I'm like, you can have his raggedy ass. I'm not fighting for no
right.
protection, right? But now as I look here and I'm looking at these headlines, I spend a lot of time looking at them and I'm mad. I'm mad for these women because they've done the right thing. But what does an unhealed person look at? Are they
That
like,
kind of
"Yes,
shit.
take her down a notch"? Is that how we become the crab in the barrel?
Yeah, absolutely. And those are the kind of headlines that turn heads. Those are the kind of headlines that get people's attention, unfortunately. And I think probably in some kind of paparazzi journalism bullshit class, that's probably how they've learned to, publicize things. And, it's just like those excuse my language, but it's kind of like that white trash theater show. What's
Trailer?
his name? Jerry Springer. And then they have
Excuse me. As a Sarasota, Florida girl who lived close to Jerry Springer, and my summers were filled with him and Steve, like, choose your next words wisely. Hold on, again,
Well, wait
Taylor
a minute.
Swift.
Am I projecting?
Hold on, no, Taylor Swift. What does she say? Hold on. First of all, I'm addicted. I don't want to fill my whole wall, but I don't love the drama. The drama loves me. Yes. But no, I like to watch it from afar and be entertained. So, but go ahead with your thought. I cut you off.
Oh, no. You're totally fine. It's just I don't know what it is, but I would just it's all grouped in the same category of reality television, the talk shows
Mm,
and the TMZ columns online, the raggedy what you call it magazines that you see in front of the checkout, that's just all about the gossip, and it's all about tearing people down.
okay, can I give you a fun fact?
Go
The
ahead,
Enquirer.
friend.
Yeah, so the Enquirer is actually one of I gotta double check this, but back in the day, it was actually one of the number one um credited sources because they got so tired of being sued for being doing the sensational am I saying that right? Sensationalizing certain things that they had to make sure what they were reporting was accurate.
I mean, but it's absolutely like defamation of character, though. I mean,
Then don't do shit you shouldn't be doing. So first of all, right, don't do shit you shouldn't be doing. But yeah, well, what had
we
happened,
all do shit we shouldn't be doing. Who doesn't?
don't get mad when it gets called out. Like, do better and cover it up.
Do better and cover it up.
Or monetize it. Again, I'm going back to the Kardashians. Like, people are like,
Exactly.
oh, she had a sex tape. She did all this stuff. And they're worth $1 billion, like with a B. Billion. I'm not talking million. Billion.
Well, billions. Because I think Kylie on her own is a billionaire. So
How much are they worth?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's ask Siri.
Oh, see? Oh, here we go. Oh, in order. I want it in order. Oh, here we go. Oh, Kim is worth 1.7 by herself.
Wow.
And I gotta say, oh, I'm so mad at Kanye. He put her
Why?
on blast on Instagram. See, ladies, be careful what you send men because, again, an undeserved ego and insecurities. I think it was like a week ago. He posted, she looked amazing, by the way. And that's probably like inspired me to do better. But I wasn't mad at her. I was like, damn. But again, I have this love hate relationship, right? She looked amazing. She really did. But I was so mad. Like, are you so insecure, Kanye? What are you mad about that you had to put the mother of your children, you had to take these photos and put them on your Instagram,
What did
right?
it look like?
She looked amazing. I'll have to look it up. She did, but you could clearly tell. I mean, they were very like, I would do it. I'm not gonna lie. Once I get my body back to like my size 6, I'm 100% gonna do it. Like, I'm good for that. But it was against. I'm sure it's something that she would not have wanted, and that's the point because it hurt his undeserved. Actually, I don't know what's going on with him, right?
What was it? Was she like
Um,
sending sexy pics to her man and he
they
just
were. They were pictures you could clearly see where she was like in a super like
Teddy
yeah, something
lingerie?
like that, right? And she was posing and her body looked amazing, like good for her. And they were just meant for him. And you
And
could
he
see him
was
taking the
trash talking
picture
her
in the
or something?
background. What?
He was trash talking her?
No, he put it out there. Let me pull this up really quick because I kind of unfollowed him because like I like both of them. I appreciate where they're it's not
Was
my
it
job
like
to
a
judge.
desperate plea for relevance? I mean, that went
Yeah.
wrong. Kinda like what, in my opinion, what Ray J did with leaking the damn sex tape, thinking that he was gonna capitalize on trashing her reputation when it totally didn't work and it backfired on him because Ray J is an absolute nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Here, I'll hold it up really quick. Like here, let me see if I can hold this up really quick and I'll send him like, look,
Mhm.
right? That was a private photo for them. And then here, you can clearly see he's taking the picture. It's for her.
Right?
And then and so like that level of intimacy, like here, like
Yeah.
by the way,
I
the
mean,
booty,
that's
like that's the reason I went and
kinda
squatted it out with nerve care and everything. She
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
amazing. Like, nobody's getting mad at like, I just I just why would you do that? So, anyways, it's just going back to we have a lot of women who are going through a lot of like they try to be supportive, they try to be the nurturers because that's what we're bred to do, right? And then w- we have all these people, and this has got to hit. It's got to hit Taylor Swift hard. It's got to hit the Kardashians hard, right? They were accused of taking down multiple men. It's got to hit Halsey hard, Beyonce hard. So how do you handle that? What is needed in order to keep your sense of self, find your sense of self, keep your confidence?
Well, what kind of tools and takeaways, what kind of strategies do you put in place? What kind of responses do you have whenever someone is gaslighting you or in a roundabout passive aggressive way trying to throw you under the bus?
So a couple of things, right? How do you recognize that you're being gaslit?
Mm,
Because
let's
some
talk about
people are so good at it. And if you have any sense of not being healed or sense of self, or you don't know who you are, like you're 100, you're going to question yourself. Do you know where gaslighting came from?
where did it come from?
Okay. So gaslighting, because of course, Shannon has to go through and figure out where it came from and understand what it was. But it is a form of manipulation that people use. And sometimes they don't even know what it's from. But it started, I forget the exact details, but men back in the day, the reason it's called gaslighting is because they used to manipulate women by like shutting off the gas and the lights and be like, oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Because remember, we used to just throw, especially women, hey, if you had a period, go in the crazy bin. See you later. Which now, by the way, I wouldn't mind 30 days in a like spa like thing if we're gonna okay, right? Right. But it's this false sense of information where you start questioning yourself of what's happening. And so women do it too, but it started with men where they would turn kind of like the gas or the lights down low and the wives or the women would be like, did that happen? I'm like, no, it didn't happen. Right. And it comes from this like 1938 play, literally called Gaslight, where victims, men or people were doing this to their victims, right? So it would make them question, is this reality? Did this really happen? So a lot of times, if you don't know who you are and you're not confident in who you are, you're going to be more susceptible to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had it happen to me. But now I'm like, no, sir, no, ma'am. I know who I am. I 100% know I didn't say that and I didn't act that way.
Mm.
Like, how has that impacted you? You spend so much time going through your healing journey, right? And dealing with people. Like, we come across gaslighters all the time.
Right.
But especially in our close circles, how has that impacted you? Because you have to have a sense of self-worth and who you are.
100%. And, to answer your question specifically, I just have to kind of lean into it,
Yeah.
right? Like, show up. And if someone wants to come to me and say, man, you've changed, you're not the same person. Oh, you think you're too good. Da, 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 da.
Mhm.
I'm like, you know what? Thank you for noticing. I have changed. I
Mhm.
feel it in my soul that I've changed.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time we're like, "Oh, have I?" But as you go forward, you're like, "Yes, thank you. I have that was my goal. That's what I've been working towards. I am changing." right?
Absolutely. And obviously, I'm a goal getter, so I achieved it. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, right? A lot of times, have you noticed that, especially women, we have the need to explain ourselves?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely don't try to justify yourself and don't try to argue with stupid. It's just a waste of time down a dead end street. You get absolutely freaking nowhere.
Yeah, I always talk about cycles, right? So when we think about, I only have so much energy for so many things, where do I want to focus it on? And I noticed I used to spend a lot of time explaining myself and justifying my actions to maybe people I shouldn't have.
Right?
So, kind of going back to what you said, you're like, thank you for noticing, instead of being like, oh, have I changed? Like those types of things. So, did you used to justify your actions? Did you used to have to explain yourself? And then now that you're like, thank you for noticing, was there something that you uh, did in order to like flip that switch?
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, this is something that you've said in the past, and it absolutely is so relevant to this conversation. You said that the devil doesn't come after you hard when you're doing the wrong things. He comes after you when you're doing the right things.
100%, right? And that's the thing. Like you are going to notice and you're going to be you told me this. We talked about this. So when we did our breakaway retreat, we literally had an in-depth conversation about how uncomfortable it is when we're like going to that next level or we're growing or in any aspect of it, right? And what's happening is just what you said. The devil's coming after you in whatever form it is, and he wants to keep you where you are. He
Mm.
is the number one crab in the barrel.
Oh, say that again. The
Yeah.
devil is the number one crab in the barrel.
Yeah, he does not want to see you doing things that are good for you, that are good for your family, any of that stuff, right? So being able to have a sense of self and know that growth is so uncomfortable. Like it's almost like a badge of honor. Like it's like, hey, like I think our listeners need to understand like you're on the right path.
Mhm.
Comfortable.
Mm, mm. I would agree with that. There's a meme that comes up every year on my social media, and it's a picture of two people sitting across from the table from each other. One is comfort, and the other one is growth. And the growth has to break the bad news to comfort to let them know, like, this is just not going to work out. And the more uncomfortable you continue to make yourself are signs that you are operating outside of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
And a lot of times when you try to and this is when we were talking about at the beginning of the year, when you surround yourself
Yeah.
intentionally with the people that are growing in your same direction, because they're going to foster that growth. They're going to nurture your growth. And they're
Mhm.
going to be someone that you can relate to because they too are growing. And so I would just say to be so protective of yourself and honor yourself with boundaries, because when you try to bring an evolved version of you back to the old environment in which the old you was, you're probably going to get hit with a ton of resistance because your vibe repels that that state of living, that mindset that the other people have. And if you're not strong enough in your sense of self, you will allow their crabby little claws to pull
Yeah.
you back in to the past when you were very much heading for your future.
Yeah. So there was a study done about the crabs in a barrel syndrome, right? And the number one thing that came out of it is that these people have low self esteem.
Mm,
So, kind of going back to, I I was really put off by these women on The View saying, "Oh, you need to smile more." Like, how does that impact you?
right.
Why are we picking on Taylor Swift? Why are we picking on all these other people, right? And so one of the crab mentality, what they exhibited in their thoughts and behaviors were things like belittling,
Mm,
right? Humiliation. And sometimes these come in these backhanded comments.
mhm.
And it comes from the people who are closest to you. So that's what you have to really pay attention to, right? It comes in harsh criticism. It could be like, "Oh, I care so much about you, but you don't always have to like blah, 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 blah." I had a friend, or I thought a friend, it was like a crab. What's the biggest crab there is? Like Alaskan cream king crab, right? Like, I don't know. What are those? I think you
Yeah,
asked one time,
like
right?
a big,
So,
giant, bumpy
and
leg with all the
yeah, and it was
warts on it.
Yeah, and it was a trauma bond, right? So I had moved, I had gone through all of these horrible things in my life, and I thought this person really cared about me. They were very close to me, and at first, like, the feedback I was getting, I thought, "Oh, this person really cares about me," but I started paying attention to what was being said, right? And then I started watching their actions and how they behave towards other people, and I was like, "Oh, like the math ain't math in here." I'm gonna be real honest, right? And it was these backhanded comments about like, "Oh, Shannon, you don't always have to do this." And I'm like, "But that's who I am." And not in an audacious way. So when I read this research about the crabs in a barrel syndrome, right? Belittling, humiliating people, harsh criticism, not in a loving way, right? They hold grudges. By the way, I will hold 100% a grudge. I'm doing better. I'm from the south side of the kingdom, right? Actually, no, right? But
Little grudge
they're jealous.
master.
Yeah, so it's like they're jealous and they're hostile towards others. And so I don't really get jealous from other people. I find inspiration from them.
Ooh, how do you do that?
Well, let's talk about this, right? So you and I, we've talked about this. We're very okay, couple of things. In real world and then in like reality world or reality TV and other people, you and I are very much alike, but then we're very different. And so instead of saying, "Oh, well, Cynthia's too healed and she's too spiritual," I'm like, "Hey, how can I grow from you? How can I learn from you?" Because I am recognizing I have a ton of business acumen. I have more healing I need to do, right? There's a book that says what got you here is not going to get you there. But why am I mad at you? Why can't I grow from you? Or
Mm,
even when I keep talking about my 100% Kardashians, obsessed with them, right? Like, I don't know what to think about them, but I do love their hustle. I love the things they've done, or even Victoria and David Beckham's relationship. They have a good, not perfect, there's no such thing, right? Good
right?
relationship. So that's what I mean by that.
That's good. I love that. I mean, what I think that is really important for our viewers and our listeners to really know is that it's okay that we all go through this, and growth is such a monumental, beautiful thing, and it's evidence that you are making progress in your life.
Mhm.
And if you're making progress in your life, then you are striving to level up. And so I just love the fact that we can create a community here
Mhm.
of people that will absolutely nurture growth, because we are all on that same wagon. We're all on that ship.
Yeah.
We're all having a party up here in space, and we're traveling through different galaxies and stratospheres and mindsets and accomplishments. And,
You went too spiritual on me. I'm not there yet. She's in galaxies. I was on the
we are
ship.
gone,
I was
sister.
maybe high-end cruise. I'm on the Lido deck. I've had a couple of
Lido
cocktails.
deck, where all the
She
food
went
is, of course.
she went what is that called? What is it, like astroplaning through like the
Oh,
universe and all this
100%.
other stuff.
We are on the spaceship, the rocket, T minus, right? Lifting off, and we are having a party on that bitch,
I
because
know.
it's a good time.
Yeah.
Growth is a
Well,
good time. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. It hurts leaving old people behind,
it
you know.
does. It does. It's hold on. Can we talk about like breaking your what do they say? Like busting your cherry when you first leave toxic people behind,
Mhm.
right? Like seriously, at first you're like, oh my God, you mourn it. You mourn it like a relationship. You do. And you're like, oh my gosh, I left this person. Did I do the right thing? You almost want to come back, all that other stuff. But the more you kind of like recognize it, like it's very hard. It's mourning. It's mourning the death of a relationship. And people need to understand that. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to cry, do all those things. Just don't go back. But
Mm,
then once you kind of come out of this, right? You now see it and it becomes easier and easier and easier. Would you say it's a muscle that you're building? A mental muscle?
mental muscle, and a sense of wisdom and understanding, that you look at your past as the wisdom that taught you and molded you on this journey. So it is a muscle that you get used to exercising, flexing,
Mhm.
and at the same time, you can just look back on the past like, yeah, I used to be like that. I used to do that. I used to hang out with people like that.
Mhm.
It just makes you more relatable. Like you're just so much more well-rounded when you can look back on the past and relate to so many different aspects of what another human being is going through. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, won the contest, whatever. I mean,
In Texan, we call that find the lesson or the blessing,
a
right?
blessing. No more blessings. I can't take any more fucking blessings, I swear. I told God, I was like, time, time out, time. I can't do it anymore. Like my spirit is weary.
Hey, God, I'll take her blessings, please. Like,
Okay.
I do not wanna sign up for your strongest warrior package in 2024.
Oh, but
Like,
you've
can
been
I
that
have
person.
the rested and relaxed package? Is that up for
Exactly.
grabs, please?
Exactly.
I stopped praying for patience because oh my god. Did I tell you that story? Really quick.
No, tell me why. Why did you stop
Hashtag
praying for
tangent.
patience?
So I'm like, "Dear God, I need patience." And then I was talking to a good friend of mine, Kelly, and she's like, "Oh, God doesn't give you patience. He gives you opportunities for patience." And I'm like, "Oh, well, fuck that. God, I need to have strength to control myself." Like
Yeah.
that like So I don't put this bitch in the ground, metaphorically
Okay.
or literal. God help me heal.
Oh, and that's how you do find the strength, right? It's like when you heal from the traumas, then the triggers aren't the same, or the triggers don't exist any longer. When you heal from the traumas, then the triggers don't exist anymore.
One of the hardest things I ever had to do was pray for the people who hurt me, betrayed me, for the things I want for myself.
Mm, damn. What does that mean?
So I went through um this I don't I, I don't even know how to say it. So I was in a point in my life where I had to heal, right? I had to on so many different levels. And I was I can't even say the V word. I'm not talking virgin. I'm talking about I physically can't say it. Like vulnerability. I had to be vulnerable and I had to I know there's a pause here and I'm trying to figure out a way to say it. But I have had some deep betrayals in my life and I had not healed from them. And so I one of the things that was told to me was you have to pray for your enemies or the people who hurt you for the things that you would want in your life.
Mm,
So I want healing in my life. I want prosperity in my life. I want good things in my life. And you have to continuously pray for what you want in your life. Because, of course, it's me. I want nothing but the best, right? I want good things in my life. And you have to pray for those people who deeply betrayed you and hurt you and give them the same thing that you want.
mm. That's beautiful. And in a Zen understanding, we understand this because we're all one. So what you do for another, you do for yourself. You break another person down, life always has a way of breaking you down. And so what did Tay Tay say? Something about karma is my boyfriend.
Karma is my boyfriend. Like, I don't wanna get trademark infringement, but I have to tell you, like, I'm not that healed. I'm from the south side of the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And my two favorite albums are, like, what is it? Reputation and her new one, where she's straight talking shit, but, like, it's true, right? And so, one of the things is I have this I need to figure out what it's this justice mentality, right? Like, I need to set things right. Like, I need people not to get away with what they did. And with the healing powers of Taylor Swift, the toxicity and healing powers of Morgan Wallen, the um
Gotta love Morgan Wallen.
the thug life of Drake and Megan Thee Stallion and Halsey, I'm becoming one again.
Love them
Oh, hold
all.
on, no, Post Malone, number 1 song, "Enemies,"
Yep.
right? Um, but regardless, there is a thing, and I go back to it a lot, not to get religious, but I I need to have something bigger than myself, right? In addition to the things that I'm doing. But there is actually, I go to this quite a lot. It's Romans 12:19. It says, "Do not take revenge, my dear friend, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, 'It is mine to avenge. I will repay,' says the Lord." That is karma. That is what Taylor Swift says. Like, these people will not get away with it. They will continue their poor behaviors and their toxicity. Like, again, the folks on The View, these people who are talking smack, crabs in a barrel, they will eventually reap what they sow.
100%. And it's usually happening to them over and over and over again. And it's usually because that is happening, it is reaffirming those beliefs on the level at which they are. So they continue to keep themselves in that tiny little box,
Mhm.
thinking that small in that tiny little barrel, and feeling more comfortable with the company that they bring down to their level. So let them stay on their level.
Yeah.
It's just too spiny, too crabby, too pokey for me. Like this is just not how I want to do things, right? Like I like soft clouds and
Hold on.
the best highest thread count and the softest linens. Like that's how I want to
That's because we grew up poor. We worked so hard.
roll.
I know, but
Yes,
I mean, if you think
ma'am.
about it, hold on. What? I don't want to smell like dirty ass rotten fish. I want to smell like luxury and flowers.
Yes. We've worked so hard to get where we are, Shannon. I mean, I am not the way I grew up in the environment that I was raised in. I am not supposed to be this person. I'm
Mhm.
not.
You're not.
I mean, I'm probably from my environment and from so many of the people that I went to high school with, even. I mean, and just, the way that some of them the turns that some of them took. I mean, I was not supposed to be living here, prospering by myself in a whole new city and state. Knew no one, like one soul when I moved to this city
Mhm.
and state, and then began to, I mean, fumble towards ecstasy. And I'm talking fumble towards ecstasy. I have set the place on fire. I have exterminated it all down. I have, started over from shambles and rocks and charcoal briquettes. Okay.
Mhm.
I have burnt it down to the ground and rebuilt it. And we have worked so hard to get here, and that is because we continuously evolved. We had to evolve past the mindset from the people that I grew up with, my own
It
parents, my own family.
Well, it reminds me of, like, my favorite metaphorical, it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes.
Mhm.
Like, literally a phoenix. So if you think about that, like, they burn it down and they rise from the ashes, like, just better than ever.
Yes, ma'am. And so I would just say that at this point in our lives, we both started off in equal and in different situations,
Mhm.
went around and experienced life and then got it together, and here we are building something solid and tall
I don't know
together.
about got it together, but, like, definitely, like, still getting it together, but a lot further along, and, like, I don't know if I got it together. No, I'm just kidding. Like, I do. I always joke around. It comes from, so before everything, I do love my Peloton, not gonna lie, hashtag Peloton. but Alex will whoop your ass and give you a sense of humbleism. I love him because
Humbleism. Hashtag
no, he used to
humbleism.
mop floors there, and now he's like the number one guy there. He's like, oh, you ready to do club bangers? He will make you think like, um, do I need to get an oxygen tank because I'm working so hard, right? And then there's Cody, and he's like, listen, bitches, we got to get our lives together. So that's where that came from. I'm like, I need to get my life together. If you have 5 minutes, I need to get my life together, right? So I appreciate all of them and what they bring. So I just kind of feel like, and I also think listen, I know I ruined like 18 songs for you on our weekend.
Oh my gosh. And I uploaded them. So I really hope, Brandon, like I'm about to give you another media intake for Empower Her. Oh my gosh. Do we have some juicy entertainment for your ass?
Yeah. So I don't just listen to the song. I'm like, listen, Lord. I'm like, oh, they be talking shit about this person, right? Like I go deep in it, right? Deep in it. And what were we talking about? I'm like, oh, Cynthia, listen to this. She's like, thanks. You just ruined like a hold on.
Like, yeah, like 1984 called. They want their song back. And
I
now
know.
I fucking hate it. I hate
know,
that
but
I
I'm like,
went
this
back.
Hold on, I'm like, this man
Because
has no redeeming qualities, but she's like, let's cheer for him. And she's like, could you not do this? And so I was like, Justin Biebs, I love you too. Justin Bieber, like, call out.
I mean, at least he was honest about how shitty and low down of a person that he is. And at least it was honest that he knew that couldn't let go of her light.
I do
Now,
believe that song's about Selena Gomez. I'm not gonna lie. I know Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez were meant to be to each other. There's a conspiracy theory that they like talk to each other through text messages, or through their songs. But anyways, I do think he dropped the bag there because she's an amazing human being. And now he's stuck with trash ass Haley Bieber, who's very jealous of crab in a barrel. Haley Bieber. I'm not gonna lie, I said it. Crab in a barrel. Mm-hmm. Yes. But yes, we were doing the song Stay, and I'm like losing my shit. And she's like, what happened to you? And I'm like, listen, he's literally saying he's not going to change. He knows he's not going to change. He's lying to her about it, but he wants her to stay. Again, going back to this theme, have a sense of self, not what you're supposed to do. Have a sense of self because the crabs in a barrel will bring you down. Do not let other people's egos impact you.
Oh, or limit you or trap you. Do not let other people's egos trap you.
That's what it is. You know what I always say? Cynthia, what do I always say? I'm a good person. I'm not a kind person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big difference. So if somebody is, beating the shit out of somebody else or they're robbing them, am I supposed to be like, hey, fun friend, could you not do that? It really offends my sense of self. And I don't think the person that you're violating right now likes that. Or it could be a good person. We're in
Like
Texas.
the equalizer and, an eye for an eye, bitches.
Well, essentially, yes. I'm not going to go there and say, hey, we need to go vigilante justice, but I'm allowed to jump in and stop the atrocity from happening. That's the difference from being a kind person and a good person.
Amen. And I'll just be standing there like a Care Bear, like giving my loving energy to you in the situation. No, I'm just playing. You're like, this corny bitch.
If I were a Care Bear, I'd probably have a taco on my belly.
Ooh, yum.
A taco and a flame. Like, let's go.
A flame.
What?
I'd probably be the chunkier one. I'd be the chunky Care Bear.
They're all the same. They're Care Bears. They're all the same.
Yeah. I'd have a chunky Care Bear with lots of tacos and lots of pizza and nachos and all of the above.
Hey, listen, y'all. You
Cheetos.
literally, hold on. This is why you can never rob a bank with me, Cynthia. I'm going to be honest. You're like literally one of my ride or dies, but I feel if somebody gives you, like, again, I do some shady shit for a taco. I wouldn't betray anybody. So, number one. However, I'm kind of questioning if like all my secrets are with you, a good set of nachos might break you. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, nachos are my favorite food group, man. I am not gonna lie about that shit.
I just need to know.
But I don't think that a good set of nachos will break me. No, ma'am. I would not rat my partner out for a good set of nachos.
With some good dick. Like, I need to know where the boundaries are. We haven't really gone this
Good
deep.
dick is very valuable. Don't get it twisted. Good dick is. Let's hear it for the
Dime a dozen. I'm gonna be
boy.
honest. This is dime a dozen.
Obviously, good dick is valuable. Okay.
But what's more important? All my secrets, all my like the vault of Shannon's secrets, or some good wiener.
Definitely the vault of Shannon's secrets.
Thank you. Okay, now I feel good. We've had this recorded. It's
Oh
going out
yeah,
tonight.
no, there is no debate. None
Okay.
of those things carry any weight. And I love both of those things. Like I value both of those things very much.
But now we force rank them. Like I need to know. I do find some comfort in this that I'm number one. Remember when we were talking about our traumas and unpacking them this last weekend? I'm like, oh, I need to be a priority and unconditionally loved. So apparently that comes from you. So thank you. So I'm above
Some
the
really
most
great
amazing nachos, which I know you love more than anything. And I'm above good dick. Like I gotta tell you,
absolutely love and adore. I love some great penis.
I gotta tell you,
love.
You have inflated my ego. Like my sense of self-worth and this relationship just went to the
Taking on a whole new heights. I told you, girl, we're on that damn spaceship. Blasting off. Here we go. It's a party.
She's going spaceship. I'm in cruise ship on Lido, Jack. Be like, yes, I would like another one.
Another one, please.
I know. Yes. All right. So as we wrap up today's episode, I know we've taken you on a roller coaster of emotions. We've talked about, the unfairness of women. We've talked about how there is a sense of hypocrisy, which I hate, right? We've talked about crabs in a barrel, and they come in different forms. They come in your closest friends. They come in your family. They come in social media. Nobody is excluded from this, right? And the most important things that we have is really growing a sense of self and surrounding yourself with the people who are there to straighten your crown, not tear it down, right?
Like that.
Yeah, they're drawing inspiration from you, and it's really tricky to find. And so what we're going to do with this podcast as we wrap it up, as we always do, we're putting together some key takeaways that you can have, and it's going to be found in the comments. So look for that. It's going to be found in the description, right? And we are always powered by Empower. So any other things you want to add to that, Cynthia, as we wrap up for today's podcast?
I think something really, really key that we took away today was don't allow someone else's ego to trap you. And that absolutely goes into it goes into having a great, solid sense of self.
Yes.
So I absolutely love today. I love what we learned today. I like how we saw that on a grander scale, people who are going through the same shit in front of the world on the world stage.
Yes. Right.
And watching how women are handling things with grace, with dignity, despite what the media and how these uh, despite how the media wants to project it according to
Right.
their limitations in their mind.
Mhm.
So I just say all hail to our Swifties, to our girl Tay Tay, to our girl Beyonce, to
Yes.
our Kardashian clan who are out here fucking crushing it and killing it with all of their
Mhm.
fucking billions.
Yeah.
Kudos to you, sisters. Kudos to fucking you.
We trying to get billions, right?
Mm.
So I meant to bring this up earlier. Like, so we talked about how Halsey put people on blast and Taylor Swift put people on blast, right? They're independent, they're trying to drag them down. But then we have Beyonce, who's under the realm of Jay-Z, and she put their relationship on blast, but that's okay, right? And now we have Morgan Wallen, who's putting his relationships on blast, right? And it's okay. It's the hypocrisy for me, right? So again, we're going back to that sense of self-worth and that center that you have to have in order to deal with this, because the world is not always going to be kind to you. It's not always going to be fair. There's no such thing as fair, right? And so if you have a sense of like who you are and self-worth, that is going to help you navigate these waters and have very different outcomes. Did she fucking ditch me again?
Move it, move it. Groove it, groove it. The one I know.